Welcome to Builder Information Systems Video Learning Center. This tutorial is part 2 of a two-part series on the accounts receivable credit card payment process, how to enter credit card information, and how to process an accounts receivable credit card payment transaction via PPI. In Part 1's tutorial, we covered the process for enabling the accounts receivable credit card payment process with PPI, and we discussed key terms common to credit card processing. If you've not reviewed Part 1, I encourage you to do so before proceeding with Part 2. You will find it informative. How to enter credit card information. Entering customer credit card information can be done on the fly during a cash receipts transaction, or the credit card information may be entered in advance in the customer's master record. Let's look at entering the information in advance in the customer's master record. To enter a credit card in a customer's master file, browse to the customer's master record screen either by selecting the customer's hyperlink in the My Desktop Accounts Receivable module screen, or by going to List and Customers in the menu bar. Use the lookup or VCR buttons to select the customer. Now click on the Default tab. Under the Credit Card section, the Add Credit Card button allows credit cards to be added. Click the Add Credit Card button. A credit card authorization screen will appear. Enter the name on the card, card type, credit card number, select the expiration date and expiration year, enter the billing address, zip code, and check whether the credit card is present, and click OK. The Add Credit Card functionality allows you to add as many credit cards as needed. The Default Credit Card field allows you to select a default credit card from the list of the available credit cards for each customer. Listed credit cards can include cards validated through the PPI integration process and also other non-validated cards. Again, only card types defined in system-wide parameters will be validated through the PPI integration process. Card type, name on card, expiration month and year, billing address, and zip code are display-only data related to the selected credit card. Again, as a reminder, all data in the credit card authorization screen is used to validate a new credit card, and only card types defined in system-wide parameters will be validated through the PPI integration process. Note that the new accounts receivable credit card payment integration process required some minor modifications to the payment type master file. Let's review those modifications for a moment. Browse to the payment types master record screen by selecting List, Miscellaneous, and Payment Types in the menu bar. Note the Type area drop-down provides type options of check, currency, credit card, and other. In order to process a transaction with PPI, the setting on the transaction must be credit card, with the correct credit card type selected to match the card. Please note, with PPI activated, when entering credit card transactions that are not going to be processed with PPI, always use payment type Other to ensure that the credit card transactions are not duplicated. Now let's look at the cash receipts transaction process. As mentioned earlier, there are 3 types of transactions that can be processed with the accounts receivable credit card process via PPI. A sales transaction, full or partial credit to a sales transaction, or void a sales transaction. A void can be attempted to fully reverse a sales transaction. Voiding a transaction is usually only allowed for a brief period of time after a sale is recorded. If void is no longer possible, a full or partial credit can be used to reverse a sales transaction. Also mentioned earlier, when a credit card is used to receive customer payments, deposits, or other payments, there are 3 possible methods. using a non-stored credit card, select a pre-validated and stored credit card, or by swiping a credit card using a card reader. Browse to the Transactions screen by selecting the General Ledger module in the My Desktop View option and then clicking on the Customer Payments hyperlink, or select Transactions, Cash Receipts, and Customer Payments in the menu bar. Note that the Credit Card tab is initially grayed out. Start the transaction by first providing the check receipt number. Enter or select the date. Select the payment type. Again, to utilize the PPI process, this would be credit card. Once credit card is selected, now note that the Credit Card tab is no longer grayed out. Select or enter the customer ID. You have the option to enter a description if needed. Enter the amount. In the invoice number field, select the invoice to pay. Using the Enter key, we'll advance through the first line and populate the amount to pay, if you're applying the entire amount to a single invoice. You may select and add additional invoices and adjust the amounts accordingly, if applicable. Once the main tab is completed, select the Credit Card tab. In the upper left are the card process options: Not Stored Credit Card, Stored Credit Card, Swipe Credit Card. By selecting Not Stored Credit Card, the user enters the credit card information in the area to the immediate right and proceeds. The credit card information will not be retained for future use when selecting this method. Selecting Stored Credit Card activates the lower section to the right, which can be used to enter a new credit card on the fly or to select from available credit cards on file for that customer using the drop-down. Once the desired card is selected or entered, saving the transaction will initiate the transaction processing with PPI. Selecting Swipe Credit Card will activate the Swipe Credit Card button. Clicking the Swipe Credit Card button provides a pop-up window indicating Swipe Card Now. Run the credit card through the card reader. The essential credit card information will populate the pop-up window. Then proceed with the transaction processing with PPI. With the Swipe Credit Card method, the credit card data like the number, address, zip code, etc. will not be stored within Builder Information System. If a new credit card is used, the first portion of the process will provide the card authorization response, and then we'll complete the transaction and provide the bank approval code and order ID number when the transaction is saved. The Receipt button allows a receipt to be generated, which can be printed, exported, or emailed if desired, while the Void button may allow the transaction to be voided within a brief period after initially completing the transaction. When pressing the Void button, Builder Information System will provide a prompt asking, "Do you want to void this transaction?" Selecting yes will initiate the void transaction process and will result in a credit card authorization response indicating transaction was voided. If voiding the transaction is not possible, the transaction may be nullified by a credit and the credit button will be available. Simply proceed with the credit process in the same manner as with the void process. A prompt will ask, "Do you want to credit in full?" Selecting yes will provide a customer payment prompt with the original transaction receipt number, date, and description, and requires a new credit receipt number, date, and description if desired. Note that the receipt number must be unique, not used in another credit transaction. The date must be the same or greater than the original transaction, and the description is restricted to 30 characters. Initiating a full credit will generate a new offsetting cash receipt transaction. At the end of the process, Builder Information System will show the new transaction as saved and closed. When a partial credit is selected, a new cash receipt transaction will be automatically created to offset the original cash receipt transaction. Builder Information System will show the new transaction as open, allowing the user to enter the amount of the credit before saving. More than one partial credit transaction can be applied to the same original cash receipt transaction. A few things to note here. The PPI integration will not allow or authorize to credit an amount larger than the original charge made to the credit card. Note that voided transactions will show the word void on the caption bar of the form, and credit transactions will in turn show the word credit on the caption bar of the form as well. Also note, cash receipt transactions that receive payments with credit cards via PPI integration cannot be deleted or opened for editing. Only void or credit are valid options for these transactions. Also, void and credit transactions cannot be deleted or opened for editing. This assures the audit trail. A new administrator log has been added within Builder Information System. The credit card authorization log will display all the attempts to authorize a credit card transaction. The credit card authorization log can be accessed by selecting Administrator using the My Desktop View option and by selecting the credit card authorization log link in the lower right of the white area to the right of the sidebar, or by going to Administrator and Event Logs in the menu bar and selecting Credit Card Authorization Log. The authorization list can be filtered by using the controls found in the upper left area of the form. Filters can be cleared using the Clear button in the upper right, and any new records can be included in the list by using the Refresh button. The credit card authorization log screen's default shows all transactions. Filters include authorization type, status, and transaction type. Simply check the desired filter. The process adjusts the list automatically. Log date, receipt date, and customer fields provide additional filters if needed. The Open button in the lower right will allow you to open and reload pending transactions, such as a not approved or no response attempted transaction listed. Saving the transaction again will initiate the process. Simply select the transaction in the list and click the Open button. A prompt will appear to ask you if you wish to proceed with the transaction process. The Delete button will allow you to delete an approved transaction, while the Preview button provides a report query screen and allows you to preview, print, export, or email the report as needed. A new credit card expiration dates report has been added to the links in the blue area of the Accounts Receivable module using the My Desktop View option, or under Reports, Accounts Receivable in the menu bar. The report query will allow you to review any and all credit card expiration dates as entered in Builder Information System. In closing, Builder Information System's PDF document on this subject, the Accounts Receivable Credit Card Payment Process, provides additional credit card industry-related terms that may be beneficial and you may wish to retain as a reference. The document is provided on our website and may be found on our installation CD.